What do you say to Sandra Rothwell about there being a vacuum on information and details?
Well, I think she's absolutely right. There's a vacuum of information about a no-deal situation. We know that there's a government minister working full-time on this. We know that every department is drawing up plans. We know that the Chancellor's providing money for it. But none of this is this isn't exposed. And I would have thought if I was negotiating in Brussels, I would say, well, look, this is what we're preparing to do if we can't reach a deal. And we want businesses and we want the public to understand that. So I think the government should be much more forceful about these preparations. Not that they're not going on, it's just we don't really know very much about them.
And the scenario of potentially a shortage of familiar foods that we're all used to buying on our supermarket shelves?
Well, you know, I actually think that is a nonsense. I think that is Project Fear number 3. But there's a decision that has to be made. Are we going to...
But why do you think that's nonsense? Because you said it would be nonsense that we'd have to pay billions to Brussels to leave. Well, we are. You said it would be nonsense that we'd have to be subject to the European Court of Justice in the transition period. Well, we're going to be subject to it.
Well, the point is nothing has been agreed at the moment, but you make the very fair point. If we don't... if we have a no-deal situation, we don't pay £39 billion. We make our own laws in our own country, judged by our own judges.
Sure, sure.
No, and we can have our own immigration policy. That is a very big plus for not having a deal.
Sure, it doesn't mean... OK, you're answering a different way now. It doesn't mean there won't be a lack of stuff on the supermarket shelves. Abby, tell Peter Bone...
I'm sorry, that's not true. There won't be. And if you say...
How do you know?
If you say at the end...
No, sorry, how do you know?
Because that's not what is going to...
How do you know? Can you see into the future?
Yes, I can.
Oh, my goodness, this is going to be an extraordinary exclusive interview that a Conservative MP can see into the future.
I know. Best way to look into the future is what happened in the past. And if we remember what the Project Fear number 1 was, about how this would be a doomsday thing if we voted to cut... Now, let me finish. Okay. I know the BBC are in love with the EU, but let's just
Please, that is silly. You know
that's not... You know that's true. You cut me off every time I'm trying to answer your question. The truth of the matter is we will continue to trade with the EU because the EU sends £70 billion more goods to us each year than we do to them.
But I'm being much more specific. What I'm saying is you promised us, you said paying billions to the EU was Project Fear. And now I'm asking how you know there won't be empty supermarket shelves. And you've just told me extraordinarily that you can see into the future.
Well, I think if you look to the past, you can judge what will happen in the future. If you are telling me with such certainty that there aren't going to be these projects...
I'm simply asking questions. I'm not telling you anything.
And I'm trying to answer you before you cut me off each time.
Go ahead.
So I'm saying that the scenario of what you call a no-deal situation would be perfectly feasible, but we must make sure that that is announced and decided upon so that businesses can plan for it. So 298 days before we come out of the EU, we should be saying, have we got a deal, or actually, are we better off without a deal? And at the moment, I'm beginning to think we are probably better off.